Hi, welcome to our channel of ignou audiobooks, Indira Gandhi National Open University, School of Social Sciences, SOSS, Master's Degree Programs, MA in Psychology, MAPC, Second Year, MPCE 022 Assessment in Counseling and Guidance, Block 4 Organizing and Planning Counseling and Guidance, Unit-1 Introduction to Developing Guidance and Counseling Program, 1.0 Introduction. Guidance and counseling programs have become the need of the hour. Each and every educational institutions should have a well-established guidance and counseling program to cater to the needs of our students and youth. In this unit, we are focusing upon the developing, planning and organization of guidance and counseling services under a comprehensive school guidance program. Developing a school guidance program needs proper understanding of the requirements of the planning, the resource persons, management of resources, different types of guidance services, etc. 1.1 Objectives. After completing this unit, you will be able to describe the meaning of guidance and counseling program. Discuss the need for guidance and counseling program. Describe the roles and functions of guidance and counseling functionaries. Enlist the guidance services in a guidance and counseling program. Enlist and describe various components of guidance and counseling program. Describe the process of need assessment for planning guidance and counseling program. Plan a comprehensive guidance and counseling program, and prepare a list of requirements needed for setting up a school guidance resource center. 1.2 School guidance program. School guidance program plays a major role in meeting the various needs of the students. It helps the students at different stages of education and is aimed at their all-round development. In the sections below, you'll come to know about the meaning and need of school guidance program, the role of personnel involved in guidance and counseling program, and the different types of services which come under guidance and counseling program are also discussed. 1.2.1 Meaning of school guidance program. We can define a program as a set of interdependent activities directed to achieve an objective or set of objectives. Similarly, by program development we mean a systematic process that includes some sequential steps that one has to follow in introducing, establishing and implementing an intended program. UNESCO, 1999. In our case, guidance and counseling program, you have read in the previous units that guidance in school system is understood as a philosophy and a program geared towards the overall development of students. As a philosophy, it is believed that guidance is needed by every individual, as each individual is unique and needs assistance in solving his/her problems related to academic, career or personal social development. Guidance is considered as a program because a counselor needs to plan and organize guidance and counseling services to meet the above needs of students and to equip them to face the demands and challenges of life. Earlier, guidance used to be considered as a one-time need of individual student. However, now guidance is visualized as a developmental process, and a comprehensive range of services are rendered to deal with the varied needs of students from lower level to the highest level of school education. In present times, the focus of guidance program is on the developmental needs of students at a particular age and grade level to help them set personal goals, develop future plans and also resolve problems. 1.2.2 Unstructured and structured guidance and counseling program. In India, various education commissions have recommended importance of these services in the education system, and thus two distinct points of view emerged. According to the first viewpoint, guidance and counseling services should be an integral part of the educational process, and the educational functionaries, namely subject teachers, should render these services during teaching in the classroom. The second viewpoint emphasizes a separate guidance program organized by fully professionally trained guidance personnel. On the basis of these two viewpoints, guidance and counseling programs can be categorized as unstructured or structured. We have briefly described here the unstructured and structured guidance and counseling program. In the unstructured program, entire teaching faculty, parents and students are involved in the guidance activities, and responsibility of guidance program is less on the school counselor. However, unstructured guidance program tends to lose its entity and goes into oblivion under the shadow of the clear-cut function of teaching. Therefore, it is essential to have a comprehensive structured guidance and counseling program in each school. If a professionally trained counselor is available in the school in the structured program, a professionally trained counselor carries out guidance functions with the assistance of careers teachers, subject teachers, parents, and community agencies. The advantage of structured guidance and counseling program is that it has its own entity in the school system, and responsibility can be laid down for different functions on different members. The school counselor can run the program effectively as he/she is responsible for such programs in schools. 1.2.3 Need for guidance and counseling program. Guidance and counseling program aims to fulfill the following needs of students in school system. 1. Educational guidance need. In educational guidance, the emphasis is on providing assistance to students to perform satisfactorily in their academic work. Other needs include selection of appropriate course of study, overcome learning difficulties, foster creativity, and improve levels of motivation, and so on. 2. Vocational guidance need. Students also need guidance in selection of a vocation and preparation for the same. Vocational guidance enables students to acquire information about career opportunities, career growth, and educational training facilities. 3. Personal, social, and emotional guidance need. Guidance concerned with personal need of individuals enable them to adjust themselves to their environment so that they become productive and efficient human beings. The main purpose of social guidance is to make individuals effective and responsible citizens by enabling them to contribute to the society, assume leadership, conform to social norms, develop healthy and positive attitude towards different sections of the society, etc. Guidance also helps individuals in attaining emotional maturity. In addition, guidance services also assist individuals in maintaining health, both mental and physical, and spending leisure time more meaningfully by developing good hobbies. 1.2.4 Role of guidance and counseling functionaries. Guidance and counseling services are rendered by trained professionals. They play the following roles to fulfill the guidance and counseling needs of individuals. These roles are related to guidance needs of an individual, such as educational, vocational, and personal, social, and emotional. Educational roles. It includes times interpreting the educational programs to the parents and the community, times helping parents understand the abilities and interests of their children and respective educational opportunities available, times providing assistance to children in the choice of elective subjects, academic and vocational courses, times maintenance of record of the student's progress in the form of cumulative records card, CRC, times assisting students in exploring their potentials through hobby clubs, students' house, etc., times orienting new students about curricular and co-curricular activities of the institutions, times assisting students and parents in appraising students' academic progress, times diagnosing learning difficulties in students, times organizing remedial teaching based upon the diagnosis, times identifying students, gifted and disabled, with special needs times assisting students in adjustment to school subjects times conducting follow-up of school passouts. Vocational roles, it includes times organizing group guidance activities such as talks, orientation career class, exhibition, field visits, etc. to help students in exploring world of work, times providing occupational information to students related to general and vocational subjects, times administering psychological tests such as achievement, general and special, ability, interest, personality, etc. to identify personal characteristics, times assisting students in changing their academic options, if necessary, times helping students in developing acquaintance with occupations during educational visits, times orienting students about vocational subjects and the career opportunities available through individual counseling and group guidance activities. Personal social role, it deals with the following, times counseling students with adjustment and behavioral problems, times providing counseling to students and their parents who are on the verge of dropping out, times keeping personal record of students about their personal characteristics and family background, times ensuring involvement of other teachers in all-round development of students. All these roles played by the guidance and counseling professionals are interrelated. They are not distinct categories. For example, vocational guidance also includes educational and personal guidance given individually to the students at various stages of schooling, elementary, secondary and senior secondary. Similarly, personal guidance is also relevant for imparting educational and occupational information to an individual student. 1.2.5 Various guidance services in school guidance and counseling program. You might have read about the types of problems students have at different levels of education. Accordingly, a guidance program has to offer services which help students to solve these problems at different stages of education. You must have understood by now that major functions of guidance and counseling include appraisal and self-understanding, orientation, adjustment, development, educational and vocational planning, personal problem solving and decision-making, family problems and other activities related to assessment, counseling, prevention, consultation, coordination, and psychological testing. To cater to these guidance functions, a counselor career teacher can organize various guidance services in a school setting. The planning and organization of these services depend upon the needs of the students and availability of resources, time, budget and support. Here we are briefly describing these guidance services. 1. Orientation service. Under the school guidance program, orientation service assists the new students to know about the institution through orientation talk, tour of the school, students' handbooks and assemblies. 2. Individual inventory service. Individual analysis is the activity of the school guidance program which follows systematic assessment procedures to identify the characteristics and potentials of every student. Standardized test results, school records and observation reports such as anecdotal records, rating scales, self-reporting techniques, questionnaires and autobiography are used for collecting data about students' family background, abilities, aptitudes, interests, achievements and other psychological variables. A counselor guidance worker takes help of teacher, peers and parents to prepare a cumulative record (CRC) of students. 3. Careers Information Service. Careers information includes information about all types of occupations and industries, educational and training facilities, apprenticeship facilities, scholarships and stipends, local and national employment trends and opportunities and occupational structure of the country. For providing such information to students, group guidance activities such as field trips, career conference exhibition, career talks, etc. are organized. A career information corner may be set up to display Career information materials such as booklets, monographs, pamphlets and posters and charts, newspaper cuttings on occupational and educational opportunities. 4. Counseling service. Counseling is generally a one-to-one helping relationship which focuses upon the individual's growth and adjustment and problem-solving and decision-making needs. The aim of counseling is self-understanding, self-acceptance and self-realization. Counseling requires a high level of professional training and skill, therefore, it should be done by trained counselors who have the necessary qualifications. 5. Placement service. Placement, as understood in the guidance field, usually indicates assistance offered to individuals in taking the next step, whether toward further training, a job situation or a different course of study. At present, job placement in selected areas is done by the employment exchanges. However, many private placement agencies are also working to help people in their proper placement. A counselor career teacher can provide information to students about such agencies. 6. Follow-up service. Through this service, a record of school leavers, dropouts, and passouts is kept. Before leaving the school, the students are told about follow-up and its purpose, and through questionnaires, interviews, letters, and telephone calls, data is collected. Professional institutions use email for getting information from the pass-outs. 7. Referral service. Students with special needs and with specific problems, emotional, behavioral or educational, may require special referral to special institutions or professionals for proper care and treatment. The counselor or career teacher keeps addresses of such institutions, agencies, professionals who can be approached at the time of any need. 8. Research and evaluation in guidance and counseling. Research is necessary for the advancement of the profession of counseling, especially to judge the effectiveness of various techniques and methods being used with particular groups. Evaluation is a means of assessing the program effectiveness and to introduce improvements in the program. The evaluation could be done by obtaining feedback or follow-up of recipients of guidance activities. The findings of evaluation programs can be used to establish the validity of the guidance program. A counselor career teacher should plan this aspect while planning guidance programming. School 1.3 Developing a guidance and counseling program in school. You have already read about the concept of guidance and counseling, their need and objectives, and the different guidance services in the school education system. Now you would read about how to develop specific guidance and counseling program considering the needs of a particular school. Developing and planning for guidance and counseling program requires the following. 1.3.1 Need assessment for guidance and counseling program. A need can be defined as the discrepancy between what is and what should be. Needs assessment is a formal process which determines the gap between what is and what should be. The purposes of needs assessment are I. To ensure program relevancy. 2. To ensure the involvement of all staff members. 3. To ensure the success of the program. 4. To determine program goals and objectives. And V. To allow for program evaluation. Before you plan guidance and counseling activities in school, you will have to identify the needs of students and accordingly you will plan the program. According to Bhatnagar and Gupta, 1999, Need Assessment Survey has three-fold value. It focuses attention on the specific objectives of a guidance program, determines a starting point, and employs the psychologically sound principle of involving all stakeholders in the planning phase of the guidance program. There are certain steps suggested by Remis and Burt, 1980, to assess the need of school guidance program. These are described below. 1. Form a planning committee. The first step in assessing need of guidance and counseling program is to constitute a committee. The committee members may include teachers, students, parents, representatives of school, management, educational functionaries, etc. The main role of this committee is to identify the goals of school guidance program. The school counselor, teacher counselor in consultation with head of the institution can identify the members of the committee, their specific roles and contribution in the guidance program. He/she can also prepare an action plan for the whole year to define guidance program goals. Once the planning committee is constituted, the members have to identify and define specific goals of school guidance program emerged out of the needs of students and school. For example, one of the goals of guidance program may be to reduce indiscipline in senior students or dealing with problems of drug abuse, smoking in adolescents. While defining goals, it is important that the goals should be realistic, achievable and should be within the limits of the school system. The teacher counselor should look for the particular needs of students, teachers and school management while planning the program. 3. Techniques for assessing the needs. The teacher counselor needs to select appropriate technique to assess the needs. Following techniques are generally used in assessment of needs. A counselor may use one or combination of techniques depending upon the requirements. Times use direct observation, times conduct survey using questionnaire, times use of psychological tests, inventories, times consultation with informed persons, times interviews, times focus group discussion, times record and reports of studies on needs and problems of students. There are standardized questionnaires, checklists, inventories and tests which can be used by the teacher counselor. However, you can also develop tools depending upon the need and requirement for administer the tools. Once the counselor has selected the tools, he/she has to select the sample, students, parents and or teachers and administer the tool personally to obtain in-depth information. 5. Implement the results. The fifth step in need assessment process is to implement the results obtained through administering the tools. This step is the goal of the need assessment process, which helps in the implementation of guidance activities to meet the expressed needs of students in general. 6. Follow-up. This is the last step in assessing the need of guidance program. Follow-up of any program is important to know about the effectiveness of program in solving problems of students, parents, or teachers. This aspect should also be kept in mind while planning the program. 1.3.2 Setting up of a guidance committee. Before you plan the program, you also need support of many stakeholders, as it is said that guidance and counseling services are cooperative teamwork. Therefore, you need to form school guidance committee. The membership of the guidance committee is determined primarily by the organizational pattern of the guidance program, which is planned as per the characteristics of the school. Generally, members of the committee are the school principal, some teachers, few interested parents, students' representatives and some representatives of the local agencies such as doctors, psychologists, industrialists, social worker, NGO, entrepreneur, bank official, etc. The school counselor needs to keep in touch with various community agencies and establish good public relations. He may have to refer the clients as and when necessary to a number of community agencies such as hospitals, banks, Rotary and Lions clubs, employment exchanges, industrial houses, government, departments of importance, colleges and so on in the town. These agencies contribute to guidance in many different ways, such as by providing financial assistance to students, medical help or employment. The counselor, therefore, should include them in the committee. Look at the screen. Figure 1.1 Beneficiaries of School Guidance Program. 1.3.3 Arranging Essential Infrastructure for Organizing Guidance and Counseling Program. The essential infrastructural facilities include trained guidance personnel, budget, finance, facilities, publicity of the program, etc. 1. Trained guidance personnel. For effective organization of school guidance program, it is necessary that the personnel involved in the program should be trained. Trained guidance personnel includes full-time school, counselor, teacher counselor or career teachers. A full-time school counselor is a professionally trained personnel, whereas teacher counselor and career teachers are subject teachers trained in guidance and counseling. The work of a counselor is to work full-time for guidance and counseling of students. Teacher counselor and careers teacher working for guidance and counseling carries out these activities in addition to their regular teaching work. When a school guidance program is developed, it is important to know what type of guidance personnel are available. If it is not available, even then the persons involved in the program can be trained for a short duration to conduct a specific guidance and counseling activity. Depending upon the qualification and training, you can assign responsibilities to the persons involved in particular activity. 2. Arranging budget. Finance. Availability of funds is very important before you plan a school guidance and counseling program. You should know the expenditure involved in organizing a guidance activity. Budget may be a problem in government schools, but nowadays there is awareness among government functionaries about the need of providing guidance and counseling to students. However, you should also know about the resources from where you can get financial assistance. Their resources include PTA, fund, business houses in the locality, clubs, etc. You have to estimate budget for guidance and counseling activities. In this regard, you can take help of guidance committee. For this purpose, you should prepare the list of activities to be done and the budget required for organizing the activity. Detailed statement of expenditure should be prepared to calculate the budget accurately. 3. Facilities for organization of activities. Whether you organize guidance and counseling activity individually or in group, you need to have minimum facilities such as space, room, furniture, almirah, for keeping guidance, material, equipment, literature, etc., display board racks to display information, etc. Besides above, you also need psychological tests, career, literature on educational training opportunities, occupational opportunities, schemes of governments, etc. Another important requirement for organizing, guidance and counseling activities is provision of a particular period in the school timetable. As a school counselor, you have to convince school management to give at least 1/2 periods in a week so that you can conduct guidance and counseling activities during the specified periods. This helps in informing in advance about guidance and counseling program activities to students, teachers and parents to get them benefited. 4. Publicizing the guidance and counseling program. Making publicity of guidance and counseling activities is important because advance information about the activity will ensure participation of a large number of beneficiaries. As a counselor, you should inform the date, time, place of guidance and counseling activity and its objectives, outcome, etc. Committee members will also come to know about such activities of school, and this will popularize the school, giving importance to guidance and counseling. Depending upon the budget for publicity, you can use print, newspaper, handouts, or audiovisual, radio, TV, media. If there is less budget, you may identify the sponsors. Even this information can be disseminated during other school programs, national festivals, important days, sports meet, annual day, etc. Information can be displayed in school notice board well in advance. 5. Support from parents and community members. It is already mentioned that you should involve parents and community members in your school. Guidance and Counseling Program. You may take help of parents from different fields as experts for giving information to the students about occupational career opportunities available in their field. 6. Develop guidance curriculum and calendar of guidance and counseling activities. A counselor may develop a written guidance curriculum as a guide and a blueprint to deliver guidance and counseling services. Development of guidance curriculum helps students in attaining, developing, and demonstrating competencies within the domains of academic, career, and personal development. Australian Guidance and Counselling Association (ACCA) Model 2003. The guidance calendar is part of a school guidance program and shows all guidance activities that are planned in the school. It includes those activities which are required to fulfill needs of students other than the curricular and co-curricular and which cannot be met in a classroom, such as tours, visits, career talks, career fairs, talent shows, seminars, drama, etc. It may include weekly, fortnightly, monthly, quarterly, or annual planning of activities. The guidance calendar helps in avoiding clashes with other school activities and also give advance information to the administration and the target groups. Guidance calendar is governed by the needs of the students and meant to complement classroom activities. A guidance calendar facilitates planners to manage guidance activities efficiently, taking into account the time of the year most suitable for certain activities. It also ensures the appropriate use of resources. While developing the calendar, the date, time, target group, guidance service activity, and human and material resources should also be indicated. As we know that guidance is a cooperative service, the school staff, parents and community members should be involved in developing the calendar. The guidance calendar will help you in identifying targeted domains, goals, grade, levels, activities, dates, personnel involved, resources to be used and tentative budget. You may request school management to distribute weekly or monthly schedule of activities to inform students, staff, parents and community members for their maximum participation. A master calendar of activities would help you to make an analysis of the time to be used in the guidance and counseling program. 1.4 A comprehensive guidance and counseling program. Guidance and counseling program in the school can be comprehensive as well as partial. The school can decide about it depending on the needs of the students as well as the infrastructural facilities available in the school. 1.4.1 A comprehensive guidance and counseling program. The meaning, a school guidance and counseling program can be made comprehensive or partial. As the name suggests, a comprehensive guidance and counseling program is based on all guidance and counseling services implemented by a professionally trained counselor or a teacher counselor. A comprehensive guidance and counseling program includes services such as orientation service, information service, testing assessment service, counseling service, and referral service. The counselor has to use appropriate services depending upon the needs of students, teachers, parents, and management of school. In comprehensive guidance and counseling program, role of school guidance committee is very crucial as it plans, implements, monitors and evaluates services activities proposed in the comprehensive guidance program. For a comprehensive guidance program, the school management has to provide facilities such as space for counselors, room, guidance and counseling cell, furniture, computer with internet, psychological tests, tools, etc. In partial guidance and counseling program, the guidance and counseling services are provided by integrating guidance with the contents of various subjects or limited services are provided. A partial guidance and counseling program has limited scope. Therefore, it is called Partial Guidance and Counseling Program. 1.4.2 Characteristics of a comprehensive guidance and counseling program. A comprehensive guidance and counseling program should be characterized with the following: times careful and consistent development program. Times it should be developmental, preventative, remedial and corrective. Times it should address the needs of the individuals. Times it should be goal-oriented and accountable. Times it should be integral part of the school curriculum and should be complementing other school activities. Times it should be balanced, encompassing the four fundamental fields areas of guidance, e.g. personal, educational, social, and vocational career. Times it should determine the services to be offered such as orientation, information, counseling, etc. Times it should involve staff members as per the requirement of the program. Times it should create and demonstrate an atmosphere of teamwork. Times it must be flexible.
Should take into account age, location, environment, cultural background, sex, economic status of the target group, should benefit all students rather than just a few, should be printed and displayed for information of the beneficiaries. 1.4.3 Components of a Comprehensive Guidance and Counseling Program. Giesbers and Henderson, 1994, are of the opinion that school guidance program should be comprehensive. According to them, an educational and vocational guidance program comprises following four components. 1. School guidance and counseling curriculum. School guidance and counseling curriculum is designed systematically according to grade level so that it serves all students at the classroom or group level. The main emphasis of this curriculum is on decision-making, self-knowledge, career exploration and career development. The curriculum is organized around three major areas. A. Learning to live, understanding and appreciating the self, others, home and family, developing a sense of community, making decisions and setting goals, understanding safety and survival. B. Learning to learn, making decisions, setting goals, and taking action, understanding interaction between home, family, school and community, and understanding factors which affect school achievement. And learning to work, learning the relationship between personal qualities and work, exploring careers, learning how to use leisure time, learning the relationship between education and work, learning to work together, and learning how the community relates to work. 2. Individual planning. Individual planning includes the counseling activities meant to assist all students to plan, monitor and manage their own personal, educational, social and career development. Activities of this component of the program are offered to all students to assist them in the development and implementation of their personal, educational, social and career components, in accordance with the skills and information they gather. This component generally offers students the opportunity for self-appraisal and to plan for the world of work. One way would be to help students to understand themselves through individual or group activities. 3. Responsive services. Above two components are for all students. This component provides special help to those students who are facing problems that interfere with their educational or career or healthy personal social development. This component includes activities such as individual and small group counseling, consultation with staff and parents and referral of students and family members to other specialist or programs, special education, social worker or medical specialists, etc. Services like counseling service, referral service, consultation service, placement and follow-up service, research and evaluation service are generally used for responsive service. 4. System support. This component has following two parts. I. Activities necessary to support guidance curriculum, individual planning and responsive service. The support from the system required for these activities include orientation of school staff, identification and utilization of community resources, budget, infrastructure and policy support. E. Activities implemented by counselor, teacher-counselor support educational programs. The teacher-counselor provides support to the educational program includes the assistance through individual planning activities such as selection of courses, subjects and co-curricular activities by student, linkage with special education program and preparation of students' personal information including curricular, co-curricular achievements record with the help of school staff. 1.5 Setting up of a school guidance resource center. The effectiveness of the school guidance services would be increased if the school has a well-established guidance resource center. Through this center, you will be able to provide the information through a well-equipped career information service. In order to disseminate information through group and individual techniques to fulfill the students' needs, career literature is very important. It is also known as Career Information Resource Center. Setting up a resource center in the school is the responsibility of the counselor, teacher counselor. For setting a resource center, you have to consider the following requirements: the target group, the location of the center and space available staff assistance, budget, materials and equipment. 1. Target group. While setting up a resource center, you have to consider the target group for which you are planning guidance and counseling services. The needs of students at different levels vary and therefore, it is important to decide the target group. 2. Location and space. The location of information service is crucial as it will determine the usage of center by the students. If the center is situated in an isolated place in the school building, very few students will visit the center. The space for the center is equally important. It should have space to keep the materials without overcrowding and for the users to sit and consult the materials. 3. Staff. The center should have professionally trained personnel to provide assistance to the users in locating the materials and can disseminate the information. In order to run the center efficiently in the school, the counselor has to undertake all the responsibilities such as placing order, collecting, filing, updating and displaying of materials. 4. Budget. Sufficient budget is required to acquire the career literature and equipment for starting the center from scratch. In the succeeding years, budget is required to mention the services of the center. 5. Materials for the center. The center should provide career information service, counseling service, students assessment etc. Therefore, it should have basic information on educational and training facilities, employment opportunities, free ships, scholarships, competitive examinations and jobs for school leavers, etc. The career information should contain the materials such as handbooks, career booklets, directories of institutions, industries, pamphlets and brochures, prospectuses, recruitment literature, monographs, reports of community educational survey and community occupational survey, follow-up studies of school leavers, employment news and a leading daily newspaper. Career magazines, success stories of men and women in different occupations, audiovisual materials, posters, charts, audio videotapes, films, etc. Besides career information, the center should also have psychological tests of general mental ability, special abilities, aptitude, personality, interest inventories etc. to conduct students' assessment. Some good books, journals on counseling practices should also be made available. However, the selection of materials for the center should be considered in the light of the budget available. 6. Equipments for the center. The center requires equipment to store the material. The equipment required depends upon the type of materials to be stored, space available and the preferred filing plan. The counselor may also discuss the various systems available for storing the materials with the librarian who has a lot of experience in housing the published materials. Then she should consider those items which suit her requirements. Generally, following equipment items are required in the center: filing cabinets, display racks, bulletin boards, glass almirahs, film strip projector, film projector and screen, table and chairs, computer with internet facility, camera, audio, video recording. The above description of setting up Guidance Resource Center must have given you an idea about the requirements to establish such center in an institution. 1.6 Summary. In this unit you learned about the meaning of school guidance program, the role of guidance and counseling personnel in meeting the various guidance needs of the individual was discussed. The different types of guidance and counseling services were also described as part of the school guidance and counseling program. You also learned how to develop a guidance and counseling program in the school. The importance of need assessment, guidance committee and infrastructure was highlighted. The characteristics and components of a comprehensive school guidance and counseling program were described. Finally, you were given an understanding of how to set up a school guidance resource center. Thank you. Subscribe to our channel for more updates, and we will see you with the next chapter.